Do you try to live off of income that certain things can generate, or do you ever borrow against that? Because what I heard that I like years ago that explained how wealthy people avoid paying taxes is like in stocks, they just continually invest in that, and then you can borrow against the stock portfolio. So then you just end up paying whatever interest fees that you borrow.
You can borrow against anything. You can borrow against any asset you have that has some sort of value to it. I mean, typically what I did, what created my wealth, was pretty much based on the 1031, deferred tax exchange that the IRS laws have. Okay. Every time I had a property, I improved it, and I went and I increased the value in it, I would refinance it. I would either refinance it because that's a non-taxable event, okay, pull my money out of it, and still cash flow. The ultimate goal to me has always been in real estate is you buy something, you improve it, okay, now it's worth more money, then you get your money back. So now I have nothing invested in property, but I still cash flow. What kind of return is that? Infinite. So now here I am. I'm sitting with all these properties that I refinanced. I got all my money back so I could deploy it in other deals or whatever, spend it. And I'm still cash flowing. And that's great. I own businesses, real estate, without any money invested. Or if you sell it, because you have to look at, is it the right thing to do? And once you refinance and you pull your money out, all right, I'm sitting here with this property, and it's giving me a good cash flow. But everything is timing. When the market goes up, there might be even more value in it. And then again, also, when you refinance the property, the most you're going to get is 80% of the value. There's still 20% of the value still sitting there. So now I might decide, all right, I want to move. I want to raise cash. I want to do some bigger deals. I might sell it. But if I sell it, I've always 1031 into the next deal. For over 30 years, I've been doing that. I never touch the money from a sale. The money gets reinvested into the next deal. And that kind of forced me to grow.
But then don't you have some like crazy tax burdens of like, let's say 30 years?
Oh, eventually.
Or something like that, where down the line it could get sold.
What happens is your basis
gets
decreased every time. You're gonna, right. The taxes you defer are counted against your basis. Mm-hmm. So yes, if I sell that deposit you were talking about for 20-something million tomorrow, my basis is probably only about 8. So then if I don't 1031, I will have to recapture $12 million worth of gain, which would be
$5 million.
$2.5 million tax bill. Mm-hmm. And at my age, I might be prepared to do that. Luckily, I haven't done it yet. I haven't paid that tax bill because luckily I have sons that work with me. So I keep exchanging with their help into other deals. Now, of course, it's like the mafia. You don't get out till you die. When you die, your wife gets stepped up basis. There are some trusts that I believe that also can get that benefit, but I'm working on looking into that right now.
No, but the limit to that isn't that like $24 million,
on the step up in basis through inheritance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's anywhere close to half
or
a billion.
Is it different if you give a property to your wife at passing? Does everything get stepped up, or is it up to the 25 limit?
I believe your wife and only your wife can inherit everything you have with stepped up basis, but we need to verify.
If that's the case, everyone should make sure they marry younger. Everyone, and then you just don't pay the tax.
That's genius.
I mean, I'm working on it. It gets complicated when you're starting to plan your death. It gets very complicated. You need really good advice from really good trust attorneys.
I feel like that wouldn't be the case. Because then if you want to give a property to someone else, you just marry that person before dying.
Give it to them and then have a trust.
Have everything stepped up, and then they could sell without paying tax and then distribute the money. That seems like too easy of a system.
They can only distribute the money to a point, too. I think right now you're allowed to, I believe it's still like 11 point something million that you can gift.
Yes.
Lifetime gift is 11 point something million.
12 something now.
Oh, okay, so me and my wife can gift together right now 24 million if we wanted to. But, like I said, I'm not an expert in trust and things like that. I'm actually looking for people to consult with on that. But, I mean, let me tell you, the worst case in the world is this. All right, if I look at my whole portfolio, if I got $500 million in real estate, let's say I owe the bank half of that. I owe them $250 million. And let's say the rest of the other $250 million, I got to give basically 20% of that. Mm-hmm. That's $50 million. I'm still left with $200 million. I think I'll be doing
So
okay.
why don't you just do that and just spend the rest of your life
I'm
just
definitely
chilling.
thinking about that now, but then I'm also have to consider, what's best for not only me, but what's best for all the kids I got and the people that are important in my life.
Yeah, but 200 goes a long way.
$200 million right now will get you, if you stick it in tax-free muni bonds, it's going to get you roughly about $10+ million a year. Tax-free, that's really almost like, my bracket, 37%,
14 mil.
We're talking if you're in California, it's almost double, so, I mean, everybody's got their own life and you have to plan. You have to plan your life and you have to make, certain moves that are logical and make the most sense for your life. So right now I'm trying to figure it out. That's why I'm here today. Jack's going to tell me exactly what to do.
Is that?
And then I'm going to do the opposite.
Is that where you're at? Like about $500 million in assets, $250 million in liabilities?
I believe so.
It's right about there.
Yeah.
But then last time we had you on the podcast, we discussed that you did a lot of deals with variable rates when rates were really low because, like you said, this is your words, not mine, that you were being a little bit greedy trying to get like the best possible discounted rate to save a little bit of money. But it ended up when rates went up, you had that float rate or variable rate. And you
basically, when I used to owe about a couple $100 million, I could have paid an extra point and fixed my rate. That extra point would have cost me $2 million a year. Right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Instead, now I'm paying an extra 3 points, at least. So now I'm paying an extra $6 million a year when I could have got away with paying $2 million back then. Now, how long did I get away without paying that $2 million? Probably a couple of years. I don't know. I have to look it up. A few years. I mean, listen, no one in their right mind in the 30 years I've been in real estate would ever dream that rates would go up so high, so quick. Never has it ever been seen before. Okay, but right now we're sitting back what rates were at in 2007, I believe, right before the crash. And what does that mean? We may not have a major crash, but we're definitely going to have a major correction. And there's going to be opportunity. All right, yes, I'm well protected capital-wise, where I can handle, the stress that we're paying out all this extra money in interest payments. Luckily, we're strong capitalized, and we can handle it. Plus, we're doing all kinds of different things to adjust. But a lot of people can't. And a lot of the people that can't, a lot of the people that pool together, because nobody wants to make capital calls. Nobody wants to come out of their pocket and start buying down debt and throwing more money into a deal. That's why, it gets tricky when you're involved in a group. So, there's going to be some very, very bad things, I believe, happening with bankruptcies, with foreclosures in the next year coming in a matter of a couple of months. I think we're going to start hearing about it. I don't think the banks really want you to know right now all the loans that aren't performing.
I thought a lot of these loans have escalation clauses, essentially. So it can't just go from 3% to 8%. It'll go from 3 to, let's say, 4.5%, and then after that, it'll go 5.5%. But over a long period of time.
Depends on the loan documents.
Okay.
It depends on the loan documents. But typically, in my experience, we're not talking residential. The guy goes out, he fixed his rate at 2 or 3% for his house. He's great. He's good. He's golden for 30 years, 20 years, whatever his loan is. But in the commercial world, commercial loans don't go out that far. You can do some government stuff and some agency loans that may go out 10, 15 years. Typically, most people in the commercial business, banks loan money on commercial assets for 3, 5, 7, and 10. Okay? So the guy who went out 3 years ago and got a loan, basically an adjustable loan like I did, it was doing great. Even if he fixed his rate, 3 years are up, he's open to the current market. Okay, he's subjected to current market. And when he goes out to have that property appraised now because of today's interest rate, he's not going to appraise for the same value. Okay, because the numbers aren't going to make sense with the interest rate being double and triple. So the value of the properties have come down. Listen, we were just talking about it. You used to have to pay used to get a 4 cap on a Starbucks. Okay, I'm seeing it for 6, 6.5 now. Okay, everything adjusts accordingly. Cap rates are going up. It's just, it's logical, If you're only collecting X amount of dollars a month, you can only, and you got to pay the bank X amount of dollars, you're only left with this much return. So the property is only valued based on a return.